know that better days are ahead.
You do have questions for our coaches. We ask that you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question. If there are several questions there in the queue, if we do have additional time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. Please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you are actively asking a question, and please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Sam Shade with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you taking time to join us, Coach. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Grambling State.
Yes, we traveled to Grambling this past weekend with a mindset of winning the game and playing 4 quarters. We start off the game, first quarter, we go up 10-0. Actually, started our 4th-string quarterback, J.D. Davis. He did some good things, threw a touchdown in the first quarter, went 12 for 18. But after that first quarter, it really was a defensive struggle. We went in halftime 10-6, came out the second half. It stayed the same, really a defensive struggle. We only had 175 yards of offense. We held them to 145. But late in the fourth quarter, difference in the ball game was a return punt, 64-yard return punt by them for a touchdown. And after that, it pretty much stayed the same. So my hat goes off to Grambling and Coach Mickey Joseph. Their guys fought hard, just like our guys fought. But, we came up on the short end.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Shea, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So I want to go right to the muff punt in the fourth quarter that was obviously taken off the board by the officials making a call. Did you get an explanation from the head referee? And if he did, what was his explanation for making that call?
Well, so basically the rule on a fair catch, the punt returner, if he muffs the punt, the kicking team cannot touch that punt or impede him from catching the ball. So once he muffed it, it went behind him in the air, and one of our players ended up touching it before it hit the ground. But if the ball had hit the ground, we could have legally possessed the ball, and it would have been our ball. But, that's just one of those breaks where, the ball never hit the ground on the muff, and we ended up touching it.
Appreciate that, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, you've had struggles running the football all season and stopping the run, but this week you gave up 8 sacks. Can you talk about that and what led to that?
Well, 8 sacks, it was a combination of things. There were some times where they had really good coverage, and they were coverage sacks. There were some times they ran some games that we thought we were prepared for, but unfortunately, we didn't handle some of their games well up front, and that allowed some sacks. And then, like I said, we started a quarterback that started the season off 4th string, and there were a couple times where he held the ball just too long. He should have gotten rid of the football. So it was a combination of things that led to those 8 sacks.
And this week, Prairie View A&M has a great running game. How do you plan on defending that?
Well, we actually played the run game pretty well against Grambling this past weekend. So hopefully we can, build on that and take that into this Saturday's game against Prairie View.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How you doing, Coach Shea?
Doing well, Doc. How about you?
Doing well. Real defensive matchup in the last game against Grambling, but want to move a little forward to Prairie View. What are your thoughts in terms of what you want to try to get done offensively against their defense?
Well, it's every week, and people that are having success in our conference, they're able to run the football on offense. That's where it starts,
Right.
and we've got to do a better job of running the football. For instance, we kind of got away from the run a little bit this past week. We did try to put it in the air some, but Grambling's got a pretty good defense, and so they limited some of our plays down the field, but going into this game this week, we got to continue to work on being able to run the football.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Look forward to the matchup. I will be in town.
All right.
Question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
All right, Coach. So this week, obviously, you said you started your fourth string quarterback. Can you give an update on the health of all the positions, including Eric Hanley?
Well, obviously, Quad Brown is out for the season. Eric Hanley, he actually traveled with us to the game, and he actually warmed up and all of that. But he only practiced one day last week, and he just wasn't healthy enough to go on Saturday. We also had Ashley Tucker, who was our third string quarterback coming into the season. He was back from a concussion protocol. And so I'm thinking that we're going to have all three of those guys available this week.
All right. Appreciate you as always, Coach. Good luck against Prairie View.
All right. Thank you.
Final questions? All right, we'll take questions from Perry Daniels.
Coach, we've talked about what championship teams look like. When you look on film at this Prairie View A&M team, do they have those characteristics of a championship team from your perspective?
Yes, I say that they do. Obviously, offensively, they're able to run the football. They do a good job in the running game, and then they make some plays in the passing game off of the running game. So, and the other thing they do, I know they turned it over this past week against Alabama State. I know they had 4 turnovers, but going into that Bama State game, they were, they had a big turnover margin on teams. And so they had the turnovers this past week, but they weren't turning the ball over. And so that's big. And then defensively, they play the run well. They keep things in front of them. They don't give you the explosive plays and things like that. And they play good special teams. So, they're able to make plays in all 3 phases, and they're able to limit what you do in all 3 phases. So, yes, I do feel like they're a championship caliber team.
Thank you, Coach. Again, good luck this week.
All right. Thank you.
Any final questions? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we are ahead of schedule. We'll pause here for a few minutes and we'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question. If we've got additional time and our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. As always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Prairie View A&M.
Yeah, went out to Texas to Prairie View. Always a tough place to play, and Coach had those guys ready to go. They got off to a really good start. They got the opening kickoff, drove down and scored on us. Then we had a fumble. They did a great job of forcing the fumble, I would say, and then they scored again. So we were down 14-0 on the road, which is always a tough place to be in. Real proud of the kids. We were able to fight back and to tie the game up at 21. Had a guy, Denzel Johnson, a young guy who's really making some plays for us. Had 11 tackles, had a big interception right before the half, and kind of gave us a little bit of momentum going into the second half. And was able to get out of there with a 31-28 win. They missed a 53-yard field goal. They could have tied it and sent it into overtime, but I think it was just a really good game, a really good atmosphere. And obviously, Prairie View is a championship caliber team, and so we were just happy to get out of there with a win. Did have an injury at the quarterback position, so not sure about the certainty of Andrew Body to play this week, but Smoot stepped in and played well going down the stretch, so was happy for him to get his opportunity. He's been a great teammate and been waiting just patiently to get a chance to play, so it was happy for him to get into the game, but obviously major concerns without having Andrew Body. So
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Rob, good morning to you and congrats on the win.
thank you, appreciate it.
So you said during your post-game presser, you said hopefully Andrew is able to return this year. Can you elaborate on that and also talk about Tashawn Smoot's value to the program and in your offense as you envision him in the case that Andrew can't return?
Yeah, so Body, I mean, it was an injury to the shoulder again, so he'll have to go get the imaging and everything today. And so we won't know until the doctors give us the full assessment, but we're hopeful that is an injury that he can rehab and get back to playing this year. With Tashawn Smoot, I mean, that's a kid that came in here to compete for the starting job, had a great spring, great summer, was right there with Andrew Body, was like 1A and 1A. And so, Andrew just got off to a great start. And I just had a talk with him last week about him being a great teammate. He hasn't complained. He comes out, he competes every day. And we know only one quarterback can play at a time. And so, I just told him, hey, man, your opportunity may come at some point. I can't, I don't know how the season's going to go. But I definitely appreciated him being a great teammate, not complaining and just going out there and work every day. So he's definitely ready to get in there and play. If it's one game or multiple games, I think everybody has a lot of confidence in him just by the way that he's been preparing for the whole year.
Well, Coach, you might remember during SWAC Media Day when I asked you about him, you said, shh, don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody needs to know. So appreciate the answer and good luck this week as you welcome Texas Southern in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Robinson, and congratulations on the win. I was able to see the game. Obviously, you were taking care of business, so I didn't get over there, get a chance to speak with you post-game. But I wanted to ask you about your rushing attack. Put up 213 yards, but specifically Jamar in terms of what he was able to do, 127 yards on 21 carries. Obviously, he didn't get in the end zone, and a couple of other guys did. But talk about how successful you were able to do running the ball.
Yeah, we have multiple backs, Marcus Harris, Holzclaw, Carl Ligon, Kuykendall, all of those guys are just playing really good. And of course, it starts with the offensive line. But Holzclaw is the guy that usually starts it off. Just a great player. I mean, he's been working very hard, had a season-ending injury last year, so he's still coming back from that. I think he's just about at the point where he can do the same things he was doing as a freshman. But just love what he brings to the table. A little bit undersized, quick, athletic, can make people miss, can go the distance. can catch the ball out the backfield, and he had a big game. He didn't get into the end zone. He's been missing the end zone for some reason. Marcus Harris got 2 more touchdowns. It's just how it's been working, but just his value, his usefulness to us. I mean, being a valuable player for us and what we're doing has been really big throughout the whole year. So just want him to continue playing at that level.
This question goes to Perry Daniel.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Super fantastic, Coach. Congratulations on your victory. Dr. Cavill asked about your rushing game. I want to talk about your rushing defense. It's not typical that we see 248 yards put up on an Alabama State defense rushing. What were your thoughts in that game and how that occurred?
Yeah, so we have to correct it. We put some things on tape that didn't look good, and so for us, it wasn't a lack of effort or guys, not trying to make the tackle, but I just think from schematically a little bit, I think Prairie View did a really good job. Coach Tremaine Jackson and those guys, they did a great job of scheming it up and doing some things different that we had not seen. So you got to tip your hat to them, when coaches do a great job and on the other side of the ball. But for us, Cam Peters did a great job of running the football. I mean, we knew they had some good backs in the big offensive line, but Cam did some things, that we weren't really expecting, and he made some guys miss. He made some plays, and he also made some plays in the passing game. And so it took us a while to adjust to it. We had a couple stretches in the second and third quarter where we had it under control, but then he came back and made some other plays. And I think even on that last at the end of the game, we had a big tackle by Denzel Washington. You could tell that not Denzel Johnson. So, but you can tell he was trying to pull the ball, because had he pulled it and took the ball on that zone read, that game may have went the other way. So definitely a lot of credit to what Prairie View was doing. So, but we have to get better at it. But some of it with that, those guys were just blocking hard. They was being physical, and they had a really good scheme. So you have to give the other team credit when they do some really good things.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, this is Marva Nichols from MTMV Sports. I wanted to ask you about your defense. They forced 4 interceptions, including 2 by DeAndre Morris. How proud of you of their resilience, especially late in the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were on our heels most of the time defensively. Just being up front, man, they scored 7, scored 14. So down 14 on the road, you have to make a play. And DeAndre Morris is a guy that's transferred in, and has just been a great kid, a leader from the time he's gotten here in the spring. And athletic safety, we knew that he was a guy that could make some plays. He was a FCS All-American at his previous school, and so we knew he had that big play ability. So it was just great to see him just make some great individual plays. And I think the other one, was Denzel had a tip right before half that he tipped to himself and made a catch. And I think the last one was to Dietrich, and that was just a play that sometimes the ball bounces your way. We tipped the pass that they were trying to draw a screen on, and the big defensive line was able to catch it and almost scored. So had some good fortune. And when you play hard and run to the ball, then good things happen. And sometimes those turnovers come in bunches. And fortunately for us, they just all came in the same game.
It was an outstanding and exciting game and great execution. Congratulations again. Good luck next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This question goes to Donald Ware.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. For you all, because you ran the ball 41 times opposed to throwing it 16, was the game plan coming in to run the football more? Because I don't know, it may have been the first 5 or 6 plays you ran the ball, and then did that when Body went down? Did this game plan, if that was your plan to run the football, did that change?
Well, we always want to establish the run. So I know we've been scoring a lot of points, and Body's been doing some great things. Our receivers, Jalen Jones, those guys have been playing at a high level. But for us, you have to establish the run first, and obviously, if you establish the run and it's working, then to be smart, keep running the football. So, but I think in this situation, once we were able to get up by 11 points, and Body was injured, and Smoot was just kind of getting going. To me, it just made more sense to try to play the defensive game. I tell my coaches, the offensive coach, he's trying to score as many points as possible. Defensive coach is trying to pitch a shutout. As a head coach, I'm trying to win by 1 point every game. And so once we're up by 11, we probably, some can say we got a little bit too conservative, but I think the biggest thing is you got to trust your defense and in those situations, especially on the road. And at that point, we're just trying to get out of there with a 1 point win. But I think we'll have more balance than what we had this game, especially with Smoot, able to go through the week and really get a grasp of what we're doing. So we'll be back to what we usually do, which is to have a balanced attack, run and pass.
Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, we'll go over to Alcorn State. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, if you could start us off with an open statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Texas Southern.
Yes, sir. Took this bunch on the road to Houston, trying to, get our first road win, and thought the guys traveled well, practiced well, and started out fast. I think we scored on the first one out of first drive, and defense got to stop, and getting up an explosive to KJ in that offense, and offensively I thought we settled down, got a big stop right before half, and just wanted to finish. We've been up, a couple times this year, and just for whatever reason, just couldn't finish, certain games, but was just satisfied that finally could get some stops at the end, and offensively could take some time off the clock, and was able to get a haul for a victory, our first conference road win. And so just excited about the coaching staff and how they prepared these young men, and also the way the young men performed on the road in a hostile environment.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Thomas, good morning to you and congrats on the win.
Morning. Appreciate it, sir.
So the football guys were really good to you guys this week. You guys played a complete game where Jalen was 20 out of 24. You guys had 3 penalties for 25 yards, and you had no turnovers. Being the fact that you had a complete game like this, how gratifying is this for you guys as a staff and as a team that it all came together? And then also, what elements of this performance do you think can carry you forward to finish the last few games of the season?
But Wayne, all honesty, I don't look at it as a complete game. I felt like we left a little bit of meat on the bone. We didn't didn't get enough first downs on third down. I think it was about 3 third and less than 2s and 3s we didn't get. We missed the extra point. And that's that 1 point that could have been hindering us from a 2-score game to a 3-score game. When you look at the preview game at 13-12 and the Pine Bluff game 24 to 20 with the ball on the 15, where we were able to kick a field goal. So I didn't look at it as a complete game. This team got so much potential and a lot of growth. Being young and still just kind of finishing strong. So I look for them guys to come out on Tuesday morning, continue to grow and continue to get better. But we still got to put 4 quarters together. Gave up explosive, in the past game, from a coverage standpoint. And so still got a lot of work to do. And, I know the coaches and these guys will be chomping at the bits to get out on Tuesday morning and to right those wrongs and continue to get better.
Well, Coach, also, I don't know, do I have time to ask a follow-up here, Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to ask you this also, Coach Thomas. This week you've got Southern coming in, and the guy who preceded you is on the other sidelines. Can you talk about what that means to you guys, the players, and just the vibe around the atmosphere down there on the reservation?
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't really heard much from the guys. I know some of the coaches. Coach hired me twice. And so I'm forever indebted for what he did to me and my family. From that standpoint, and got some coaches on the staff that was part of those championships with him, and so I know he's dear to a lot of people, not only on the staff but just in the Alcorn community. And so we'll be excited, just to see Coach from the standpoint of what he's done for us, from a career standpoint. But at the end of the day, he's on the other sideline. Like the kids say, he's the ops right now. And so we're gonna be excited about getting these 2 opportunities to play these 2 great institutions. for a really good game.
All right. Appreciate you as always, Coach, and good luck this week against Southern.
Appreciate it, sir.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Congratulations on that victory.
Appreciate it, sir.
Jalen Tolbert looks like he's getting really comfortable in your offense, Coach. Can you talk about his play Saturday?
Yeah, it's that, he's really getting comfortable. He's leading, doing a lot of things off the field, from a leadership standpoint. That's what's indicative to him being successful. I think he's finding his niche, inside the system, getting comfortable with the guys that he can get the ball to the perimeter with, really just getting the grasp of the system, completely starting to see a lot of different looks from a lot of defensive coordinators and just really making good decisions. It was a play in the course of the game where I felt like, a couple weeks ago, he might have, tried to force it and, actually ran out of bounds on the 3rd down, and we was able to get a stop. And I thought that was one of the key plays to us having success, but also just his development or just the next play mentality. So, just awesome, just in his growth. I think he got maybe 6 to 7 touchdowns with no interceptions in the last few weeks. And so we continue to, continue to get better. But we knew coming in that he could help us, win a lot of football games.
And if you could talk to us about what you've seen from this Southern University team on film, Coach.
Violent. Those guys run around. Kobe does a really good job. You got to find out where he is. He's getting a lot of doubles this year, just because you're not seeing, as much effect with the other guys, but you got to know where they are. Also long on the perimeter, from a DB standpoint. And, if not the second best running back, he close to it compared to, Jacoby Sewell. But, Holly's, definitely a difference maker. Offensive line is massive, going to maul you. And for us, it's personal. We gave up 295 yards last year. And so, all the coaches remember and all the players who was here last year remember. So, we got to do a good job of making sure we corral him and make sure we don't have that same output from a run game standpoint last year.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, how you doing this morning? Congratulations.
I'm blessed. How about yourself? Appreciate it.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm doing well. Coach, I wanted to ask you about your running back, Reggie Davis. 6'1", 205-pound running back from Montgomery, Alabama, as you know. He got in the end zone 3 times, 20 carries, 87 yards, along with 15, playing some good football for you. Talk a little bit about him in the totality. You were able to run and rush for 224 yards, and he was a strong part of it.
Yeah, that's one of Coach Boo's specialists, man. He's a staple when you talk about Alcorn running backs. He's coached some of the great ones and actually recruited, Reggie. Wanted to bring another running back in and take some of that pounding off of Sewell. And, Reggie just fit the culture. This place is, geographically is a different place. And, it's a place that you got to want to be at. And, Sewell, embraced him coming in. And Reggie did a really good job of just conforming to, things and how things are being ran down here. So he fits the culture, man. I'm just so excited, fiery, gets everybody enthused about what's going on, run violent, but just a really good football player on and off the field. So really just a blessing to have him and his parents and, his family a part of this great institution.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. This is Marvin Nichols of MTMV Sports. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm blessed as well. Quick question. Holding the Tigers scoreless for 2 straight quarters showed real discipline. What did you emphasize to your defense at halftime?
Just finish. Coach Rowe and that staff, man, can't say enough about, him and his growth, the way he's managing the staff and, just the guys that's working with him. For us, it was just finish. We went in at halftime a couple games this year and, fell short, and couldn't get stops. And so that was the mission for us. It was a mortar combat, type mentality. We wanted to go out and just be able to finish the game. And it wasn't just to the defense, but just overall, from a coach's standpoint, an offensive and special team. And I thought they did that.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, last question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone on the reservation are well. Can you talk about November football as you tighten the screws, you clean things up, and you look to win football games and guys band in and work together?
Yeah, just playing with a purpose. Just seeing this group go out every day and watching them get better. See all the fruits of their labor start to come to fruition. And also, just being around the coaching staff, watching how they gel. Got some young coaches, that's on their second, third, year at certain titles. And so it's just good to see the matriculation of not only them, but everybody on this journey. Had some hardships early, but I wouldn't change it. It's a foxhole mentality, and it's easy when you're up. I'm just watching these guys still come in with the capacity to work through all the downs and the hardship to be able to come out and still play well. And so we're expecting that for one more week. So we're excited. I'm excited getting up, just watching these guys continue to grow in this great profession. And, watching these young men deal with, some of these same characteristics. They're going to have to go out when football over and apply it to life.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
You too.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we now go over to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woody, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature and get your question in the queue. That being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi Valley State.
We had a good crowd. Obviously it was a senior day, graduate 25 seniors. Just really hats off to Coach Buckley. I mean, those guys came in ready to play. We spoke to our student athletes about starting fast. Javon Ross took the opening kickoff return 85 yards for a touchdown. We went up first quarter 14-0, 24-yard touchdown pass from Cam Ransom to Javon. And then Josh Brown, the Mississippi, it was 14-7. And then we went up 21-7. And then, it was 21-14, then 28-14, then 28-17. And then it went on down to the wire, 42, to 34. So we just got to understand that we got to play all 4 quarters, got to tighten up, our coverage. But we went and handled business and ended up winning the football game. So I'm proud of the guys. Like I say, through all the distraction throughout the week, we tell the guys all the time, we have to be focused. We got to stay laser focused, and we ended up getting the points that we needed to get to be victorious at the end.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Woody, congrats on the win and good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, can you talk about the impacts of playing meaningful games in the month of November in your program? And then also talk about this long trip that you guys are getting ready to make over to Grambling. What does the travel plans look like in the preparation for that?
Well, whether it's, October, November, December, these guys know that you got to come to work and go to work. You cannot take anyone or any situation, for granted. And I think our guys, they're starting to understand the process, and they understand that, hey, you do things, the right way as far as technique, fundamentals, attention to detail. You go out and be victorious like our guys have been doing, for the last several weeks. And taking the trip, obviously we've been on the road before. This is not our first time being on the road, but we're going to prepare. Like I tell the guys all the time, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So every day we got to prepare the right way to make sure that we positive at the end of the day, So with us traveling that far, they understand what's at stake. I'm sure Coach Mickey Joseph doing an outstanding job. They're going to have their guys ready, and it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Appreciate you as always, Coach. Good luck at Grambling on Saturday.
Thank you.
This question goes to James.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Daytona are well. You guys the Wildcats take a 3-game winning streak into Grambling State University coming up. but just talk a little bit about November football and the health and strength of your ball club.
Well, just playing hard every week. You're always going to have those guys, little nicks and bruises. Like I tell them, if you're not a football player, if you're not, hurt, it's a difference between being injured and hurt. And they understand that, we have to go about our business, taking care of our bodies, and then making sure that we're ready to go at any given situation. And it's November. Obviously, people remember what you do in November. So, we understand what's at stake, and we got to keep progressing, and everything else will work itself out.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
You too.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Woody, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. And yourself, Doc?
I'm doing well. Really
That's
excited about the football you're playing, not just offensively, we spoke about last week, but your defense is moving and progressing and getting better as well. But I want to stay on the offensive side of the ball, just what you're able to do with the triplets, it seems, with your quarterbacks, your running backs, and wide receivers, how they're all playing together collectively as a good group and really being able to work with the offensive coordinator to coordinate your offensive approach about how you're getting things done. Talk a little bit of how that side of the ball seems to really be in a nice groove of things and how you feel it's coming together.
Well, we talk about all the time, it's not all about me, it's all about we. And those guys, they love each other, obviously not just offense, but, the whole team, and they're selfless, and we tell the guys all the time, it's not about who gets the credit. It's about guys working together and about doing your 1 and 11, not letting your teammates down. So it's been great. That just doesn't happen overnight,
Right.
Players are selfish, and, you got to, coach them to be unselfish, and that's all about recruiting the right guys that doesn't care about me, they care about we. So I think those guys doing a great job of, straining for each other. It's a brotherhood. Hey, I do my job, you do your job, no matter who gets the credit, we all win.
Thank you, Coach Woody. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, I realize that it's a team game and a team concept, but I want to talk a little bit about Antoine Watts, who played a phenomenal game this past Saturday with 11 total tackles, 1 for a loss, an interception for 32 yards, and then 2 breakups. Can you talk about his impact on the defense?
Well, he's been that silent leader. He doesn't say a whole lot, but he handles his business on the field. Him just doing a lot of studying of game film, understanding how to anticipate plays before they even happen. And that's with a lot of game film study. And he brings those guys in the back end along, because he's such a good person. He's not a rah type guy. He's the guy that, come to the office early and leave the office late, so he's the type of guy that is expected. He expected to do that because of preparation that he puts in. And I'm, happy to see his progression throughout the season as well.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Doing well. Brandon King, inside the HBCU Sports Lab and sneakershoptalk.com. Wanted to ask you about, with the win that you had over Valley, you finished the home segment of your season undefeated, which is something that the program hasn't achieved since 2017. Didn't know if that was something that you noticed or even cared about, but what does that say about your team's ability to take care of business at home?
Well, it's a tough place to play, but obviously you have to make that environment that way, by handling your business. So my hat goes off to the players, and obviously, we have to coach them up. But, we take one game at a time. Obviously, you want to play in front of your home crowd and you don't want them disappointed, but, we have to prepare and do those things that's going to allow us to be undefeated at home. But it's, it's the next game on our schedule. It means a lot though to win at home. You get a lot of people starting to come out and we're trying to, change the culture and the guys are biting in and understanding what it's all about to do that. So it shows on the field and off the field and in the classroom.
All right. Thanks, Coach, for that insight, and good luck as we move forward through the season.
Thank you.
Final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you. All right, we now go over to Florida A&M. Once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colsey with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good. Great, Coach. As always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could, start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Tough outing for us. I thought we did some pretty good things in the first half to try to contain them offensively, but that's a dangerous bunch out there in Jackson, and they got a chance to run the football and did that very, very well. But ultimately, you got to kind of push to the side. Obviously being 2-2 in conference, we finish up with 4 straight road games, and we start off by heading to Pine Bluff this upcoming weekend. Team that's also playing very, very well.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Colsey. Good morning to you, sir.
Boss? What's up, boss? How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. So, Coach, obviously you talked about the frustrations of the game in the second half. In terms of your process now, turning the page to get ready to play UAPB, detail like how you can get this run game and this pass, get the offense rolling this week to where you don't see a carryover from last week's performance in the second half affecting you in this week's performance.
Well, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing for us is, man, we go back to in the first half, and we were running. We had a lot of third down and longs, man, third down and extra longs, right? And that's not the recipe for success, especially offensively. To try to get the offense going. We started the game, mishandling the kickoff, and you think of that just one play, but that offset the next 2 drives, right? Having to start a drive at the 11 and then at the -11, and then obviously having to start the next drive at the -1. But that's all encompassing of not starting the way we needed to start. Especially, you knew Jackson had a long travel back, difficult travel getting back from Vegas, and then obviously coming on the road again. And the anticipation was, there's going to be a little bit of a letdown from them, and we didn't take advantage of that. And I'm disappointed with that. I thought we'd come out a little bit more, guns blazing a little bit, I would say offensively. But first 2 drives of the game, we're using coming out mode, because again, being at the -11 and being at the -1, we weren't necessarily able to get into the rhythm that we needed to establish early, to maybe spark a little bit offensively. So, again, we third down and long for a young quarterback, that's not the recipe for success. So we need to be much better on first and second down as far as putting him in a better situation.
All right, appreciate you as always, Coach. Good luck to you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. What's going on?
Doing pretty well. Wanted to ask you more of a philosophy in terms of coaching. Obviously, in the game against Jackson State, while the first half you were solid, but the second half they were able to get the running game going and were able to get going for 392 yards. If you look at Pine Bluff, the previous game with Southern, they got going as well, but most of it was through the air. How do you go through a week when you start working through your process, looking at film? Obviously, there's some things that you want to do approaching the run game, but at the same time, you want to make sure you're efficient in your pass defense in terms of at least what Pine Bluff was able to do well in their last game.
Well, you're going to always look at the key players and what they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really want the key players to beat you, right? So you try to take advantage, take away the things that you think they're going to be trying to do on the offensive side of football. I think ultimately right now, after 8-9 weeks of playing, teams are going to do what you haven't done well or what you haven't played against well. So, And I think still bottom line is, you want to make sure you stop the run because that's something that we've had a really, really tough time doing. And you might be putting your DBs on the island a little bit, but you at the end of the day, Jack State beat us this past weekend, not because they were able to throw the ball to all the receivers they had. They were able to run the ball effectively, take time off the clock, and then have success on third down when they needed to. So, you still want to continue that mindset, but also understanding, their quarterbacks can run and throw the ball effectively. They got a very, very good group of wide receivers. So, we definitely take that into consideration, but but at the end of the day, you look at the last 4 games or 4 or 5 games they played, see what they've done, and but you want to make sure you take away what they've had success with. But you also have to understand that they're going to definitely take some plays from previous teams that have had success against us.
Right, makes sense. Thanks, Coach, for sharing.
Appreciate you, man.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, what's up, boss?
Not a whole lot, Coach. Talk to me about coaching philosophy, and at what point in the season do you start building for the future with your team?
Well, I mean, I think you try to build it every week, right? I mean, I think for us, we got 4 games left, right? Obviously there's some crazy things that may have to happen, but you're trying to build week by week. I think the biggest thing for us right now is, getting ourselves back and playing obviously got to get to play Pine Bluff, and you're trying to get back on the winning track. So you're trying to do everything imaginable to make sure you're ready to play this week. Because you win this one, you win the next one, you win obviously you win the next 4. That definitely builds for the future. But obviously, we got a pretty veteran group. I know that they want to make sure we end on a good note as well. So, you build for the future just by doing the daily activities, making sure you're doing everything you need to do academically, lifting on the field, practice in the film room, because every day you can get better. So if you can get better every day, that definitely helps with the future as well.
Sounds good. Good luck to you this week.
Hey, man, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone on the highest of 7 hills are well today. Talk a little bit about the defensive side of the ball. You guys were able to get that fumble recovery, and then just talk a little bit about going forward, what you'd like to clean up as you head over into UAPB.
Well, I mean, we thought we did a good job in the first half. We knew we had a young quarterback, and we were hoping to give him some different looks and look like we had some success. But, at this day and age, right, we felt that that's what Jack State was going to do. They were going to try to run the football and take shots, right, especially with, the type of quarterback they were using and the type of, trying not to put the onus on him to try to win the football game, and as you get more into the future, right, like teams are going to do what you've had problems with. So, we got to iron ourselves down, making sure our guys are in the right fits. We need our linebackers to trust the D line. We need our DBs to trust the linebackers. So like right now, we're inconsistent as far as our run fits because we're not trusting the guy in front of us to do the necessary job that we're hoping that they would do. So, we got to continue to work on that, continue to execute, continue to trust each other so we can put ourselves in better position, especially in the run game.
All right, Coach. Safe travels over to Pine Bluff.
As always, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
This question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. One interesting matchup I see in this game with UAPB. Obviously, your quarterback, RJ, has done a pretty good job taking care of the football this year. Don't believe he's got an interception this year, but UAPB's defense leads the conference in interceptions this year. So what has RJ done well to take care of the football, and what have you seen on film from the UAPB defense that makes them good at taking it away?
Very opportunist group, man. And biggest thing for them is they finish plays. That ball's in the air and you make a mistake, man, they're diving and making interceptions, right? And, got a couple of tip balls where guys are going to get interceptions as well. So I think one thing about RJ, he ain't going to throw it in harm's way. And that obviously at times that's great, but then there are some times, we got some athletic guys on the outside that maybe we may want to take a chance and see if our guys can make some plays as well. So, he has done a good job. I know he doesn't have any to improve what we're doing weekly with him. Every week he has to get better for us to have success. So, and with also that in mind, right, being able to expand our playbook for him, being able to have success with. But he'll tell you, man, we might have missed some shots this past Saturday, which would put us probably in a better spot offensively, and just being able to trust his coaching and trust his teaching, right? I mean, there's There's some things that we obviously want him to do better, and we need him to do better for this offense to have success. So, again, at the end of the day, I think that he is the leader of offense, and for us to have the success we need to have, and those 2 weeks before we play Jackson, the reason why we were having the success we were having on the offensive side is the execution from our quarterback position, where maybe this past week we didn't necessarily have what we needed. So continue to improve, continue to buy into what we're doing system-wise, and just continue to put the ball in the hands of our playmakers. That's the best thing that we can do.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right.
Final questions? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Hey, appreciate you guys, man, and good luck to everybody this week.
Sir, thank you. All right, we now go over to Grambling State. Once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature. With that said, happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. Coach, if you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Well, it was an ugly win. We knew going into the game that it was going to be a tough game because it was a really good Alabama A&M football team. And sometimes you can't look at the numbers and assume that that team's going to show up that day. They had a really good game plan on defense to slow our run game down. And our defense played exceptional. They played lights out with holding them to 0% on third down, 8 sacks, 13 tackles for losses. So it was a group effort with our special teams. We down to, had to play our fourth string guy. We lost our third guy, so we had to go with our fourth guy. And they rallied around him, just the culture of this team, just to sit here and just fight. And we have a motto around here. We put 11 on the field and we fight like tigers. No matter who's out there, we expect you to do the job. But as coaches, we had to help him. So we wanted to make sure that, every drive ended with a kick, either extra point, field goal, or punt. And we were successful because we was very bad on third down. We were 1 out of 15. So it was an ugly win, but we got to take it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Carter.
Coach Joseph, good morning to you, sir, and congrats on the win.
Thanks, Wayne. Good morning to you.
So let's see, okay, so with everything that you guys have, obviously Darrensburg goes down, you're playing Benoit. You're piecing things together here. So with everything being said, obviously it's a week-to-week principle, but what do you guys as a staff have to do considering where you guys are at in quarterback and some of your other areas on offense to piece this thing together another week?
First thing I tell them, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. It is what it is. You're playing with your fourth quarterback. We didn't have a great game up front. We didn't play well up front. We didn't play well at the running back position. We missed some runs. We missed some blocks up front. But now you're right. We're piecing it together. But I told my coach, don't overthink it. It is what it is. This kid knows 40% of the playbook. And let's see if we can use 40% of the playbook. But by Thursday, let's see if we can get him to 60% of the playbook. You're talking about a kid that we playing that didn't get any reps, during fall camp, didn't get any in September, October. Now he's going to be getting a whole bunch of reps. So we're piecing it together, but we're not going to overthink it. It is what it is. We know we got to get it out the mud. That's the thing we're saying. We got to get it out the mud right now. Everybody's got to step their game up to rally around this young kid.
Appreciate that as always, Coach. Good luck against Bethune this week, and tell your brother congrats on another great job yesterday.
Yeah, he gave up 5 field goals, 3 number field goals, so he's feeling pretty good. But he's grinding. They play Thursday, so he's back in it early this morning.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry. How you doing?
Super fantastic, Coach. Is there a T-set update?
Well, no, he's still in, still, like you say, he's still in good spirits. We sent him a video the other day. We've been in constant contact with his mother. We haven't spoken to Zay yet, but we just talking to his mother. So he's still in good spirits. He's up. He's talking. I don't know how much up he is, but I know she said he's in good spirits. And so we just getting a little bit at a time. We're not getting a whole bunch. So we trying to respect her, and so I'm gonna try to push her to give us a update next week. let us know where he's at next week because it'll be almost 2 weeks. And
Fair
you know,
enough.
everybody's curious. And like I told you before, everybody's not doing it to, just to be nosy or anything like that. People really out here really truly care and people want to help. So
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that I reiterate that to her that they're not trying to be nosy or anything. They're just trying to, she's a 225 girl. So, she's going to
Absolutely.
she got trust issues when it comes to Zay. So, so she don't trust everybody. She had to trust us before we got him,
I got it,
but I
Coach.
gotta
I
try
got
to I gotta try to say it's really people out here with good hearts. Even the kids from Jackson State when that happened, the kid felt bad. And that's one thing I do love about this league. Everybody in this league has reached out to me. Even some coaches in the MEAC gonna reached out to me to see what they can do for the kid. So I appreciate all the prayers. I appreciate everybody, looking out for us. But like you said, when it comes to HBCUs, we got to look at it. We one big family. We all striving for the same thing when these kids come to these HBCUs. So we're one big family, and it's showing us right now because everybody's rallying for us and asking about this kid, and I appreciate it. I really do. And my kids appreciate it. My coaches as well appreciate it.
Absolutely. Coach, if you could, though, talk about after a season of special teams mishaps, you win a football game off of your special teams. Talk about that and what that meant to the program.
Well, we've been here and there. We've been having some mishaps. You're right. We've been having some dumb penalties. We hadn't been punting the ball the way we punted. We missed some field goals early. We hadn't been sharp, but the effort's been there. And we just had to settle down and like you say, not get blocks in the back. 2 weeks ago, we'd have hit somebody in the back because we just want to make the block so bad. So now we're teaching, hey, throw your hands up. Just follow the technique. So we get them to take coaching on the special teams, and there's some young kids out there. We got some young kids out there, some young freshmen that's keep grinding, but you know what? The effort's there, and now we just got to continue to coach them and get them better. But it was good to see, and it was on safe. It was on safe with the defense out there that the kid ran it back. But he was a great punt returner coming out of Cal Poly. So and my thing is I need a punt catcher first. I want somebody that's going to field it. He did drop one because he interfered with, but he did a great job when he caught the one for a touchdown, just to finding the sideline and hitting it and make him cover. So take my hat off to Coach Ricard and the special team guys.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for the update on TSAT, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone at Grambling State University are well. The G-men are 3-1 at home in the hole. Talk a little bit about Bethune comes in, a dangerous team. When you look at Bethune-Cookman, what do you see at this point?
Well, it's a well-coached football team. Well-coached football team. They doing a great job, out there with putting this team together. There's a lot of kids that returned. The quarterback's a really good player. 44, the D lineman, he's really active. But when you talk about these Florida teams, there's one thing about them: they can run. They can run. So when you can run, you can do so many different things because you speak and overcome a lot. But it's a solid football team. They're playing good football right now. They're hot. But like you said, they got a trip, but it's not their first time making a trip. They went to Jackson early in the year, so I don't think the trip's going to affect them as much. But it's a good football team. We got to try to put a game plan together to try to slow them down, because it's a team that that's like they're hot right now. They're playing good football, and I think they really up there in the East. I think they like maybe second in the East, second or third. But it's a tough football team. But it's like I said earlier in my first press conference earlier, that this is the respect of this league. This league is the HBCUs, because every week you got to strap up. Everybody, when you look around the conference, everybody's playing good football against each other, and you take your hat off to the coaches in this league because they're well coached, and you take off, with the players, with the transfer portal. A lot of stuff is even. So you take your hat off to the league. It's a tough league to play in, and Bethune's playing good football right now. They're one of the hottest team in the country right now.
All right, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Joseph.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Congratulations on the win. I know you framed it as ugly and certainly could understand why, but as you alluded to, the fact, the toughness of the league and the versatility of different teams that you play in week to week, and how teams get up, rivalries and all that kind of stuff that's involved. I simply saw it as a gutsy win based on an emotional win the previous week, both in terms of how you got the win and then obviously prayers to T-set and what you're dealing with. So kudos to your coaching staff as well as your teams. I needed to get that out for you.
Thank you.
But I wanted to ask you a little bit about the challenge after playing such a good defensive game, coming in and playing Bethune-Cookman that seems so versatile. They're able to pass, run quarterback, they're able to run the ball, receivers. You talked about in Florida, a lot of that is double dose the fact that they got speed as well. So talk about the challenges that you go in this type of matchup because of the versatility of an offense of that magnitude.
Well, it's a tough matchup. It's a tough matchup for our defense. It's also a tough matchup for our offense because they really athletic on defense also, but on offense they're very explosive. You know, they know how to score points. They trigger man is a really good seasoned kid that's been around for a while, and they do a good job with their scheme. They do, you know, they'll spread you out. When they spread you out, you got to go out there because if you don't go out there, they're gonna spit the ball out there, and now they're one-on-one, and they really good. They skilled kids are really good in open field. They make you miss. So we gotta work our butts off this week, you know, in open field tackling, and just to try to put some pressure on them and give them some unscouted looks to try to slow them down a little bit. But like I said, it's a really good football team. We catching them at a bad time. I just want to say
Yes, sir.
it's not good for us.
That's real
But
talk.
it's not good for us. But they said they're hot. But you know, it's just like you say, it's just the credit of this league. You know, everybody. You know, when you talk to these coaches around the league, you know, you got to get ready every week. You got to get ready every week because everybody's going to play, and you take your hat off to the coaches. And you know, I just think that we catching them at a bad time because they're rolling right now. So, but we got to get back to work. We got to get back to work and see what this little 17-year-old can do, and go from there with it.
Thank you, Coach, for the insight and
Thank you.
humility. I appreciate you. Take care. Have a good one.
This question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Morning, Coach. Marvin Nichols, MTMV Sports. It was a really, really gutsy game, and it was hats off to you and the staff. Wanted to know, how is Darrensburg at this point? Did he have a major injury, or will he come back and help Benoit, or what?
Well, he's going to the doctor today at 1:30, so we'll know more once he goes in and gets the X-rays and MRI just to know exactly. But it's a low body injury, so we'll know. I'll know more today once he goes to the doctor, and you know, you call me tomorrow, call me tonight, and I'll let you know exactly what's going on with him. But he's going to the doctor today, and you know, he's disappointed. He's disappointed, you know, because you know he put so much work in that week to get ready for this game, and I thought as the game went on that he knew more of the playbook than Hayden, you know. So now we're dealing with Hayden right now. So, but I'll let you know more once I find out more.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Okay, appreciate you guys, and everybody good luck this week.
Sir, thank you.
All right.
We now go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with UAPB. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could, start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
Yeah, we had a home game against Southern. Kids came out, played well in all three phases. We were able to get a win over a team we hadn't beaten but once in the last 10 years. So it was a good win for our program. And, you know, obviously knew a couple of the guys on the staff. Coach Miller, I was his GA at Southern. He's a D coordinator, so a good friend of mine. And just so excited to get the win.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Hampton, congrats on the win, and hope all is well with you today.
Yes, sir. Same to you.
So, Coach, coming off of this game against Southern, you know, you guys, in the games that you guys have really performed well in, Christian Peters has really, really performed well. And the games that you guys have not, obviously, he has not either. So now turning the page this week to FAMU, what parts of that game against Southern offensively and how much you guys executed can you translate and carry over into this game next week to prepare you best against this FAMU team?
Our quarterback needs to deliver the ball where the ball needs to be delivered. We need to be able to run the ball. We'll run first team. And I know everybody's like, oh, Peters is throwing the ball. That's not necessarily the case. In this league and any other league, you have to be able to run the football. And when you can run the football, then you get more guys in the box. So the games that we have not done well, we've thrown the ball too much. And I want to do what we do best. I mean, we got a good offensive line. We have a quarterback that can run and throw it. We just got to be more balanced. And when we're balanced, it's a good complementary football all the way around. It helps our defense out. It helps our special teams out. So we just got to be smart with what we do. I don't care if he throws for 400 yards or 10 yards. I just want to win the football game.
Appreciate you as always, Coach. Good luck at home against FAMU this week.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. I want to ask you about that offensive line because, from last year to this year, I mean, a year ago, I think you gave up the most sacks of any team. And now this year, I think you're 5 fewest sacks allowed in the SWAC, and you're averaging more rushing yards per game than you did last year as well. What have you seen from that group up front this year that maybe you didn't see last year?
Well, I see Donovan Jackson. He's an O-line coach. Our O-line coach left like 3 weeks before we started fall camp. But I did a retreat with some coaches, NFL coaches, and this agent, man, and it was his guy. And it's funny how God works. And I went down there and visited with him, and I was looking for an O-line coach. I texted him, and he said, Coach, I got the guy for you. And then Coach Jackson had just wrapped up at Washington, and then we got on the phone. We were able to get him down here, and he's been a blessing, man. This guy was at LSU when they won a national championship. He's been a high school head coach. He's did a couple of internships in the NFL. So you ask me, what's the difference? It's him. It's his mentality. It's his professionalism. It's the way he go about his work. He's demanding, but not demeaning. And our kids, they needed that. And so, man, I tell people, God take care of fools, babies, and Alonzo Hampton. So we lost the coach for 2 weeks before we started fall camp, and he sent me a jewel. And so I'm happy for our guys. They're playing well, man. And so I'm excited about that.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Pine Bluff are well. Congratulations on that victory. Talk a little bit about FAMU, what you see from the Rattlers on tape, and some of the things you'd like to do to get another victory. What do you see when you look at FAM?
I mean, obviously very athletic, big old line. Love the quarterback. He's smart. Don't make a lot of mistakes. They got some receivers that can do some things with the ball in their hands. Got a couple good tailbacks. It's a really good football team. And then you look at the record, you don't really kind of see how that translate. And defensively, man, they run around and make plays. They got a couple guys in the return game. But again, as every coach said, man, this league is different. You can't say this is an easy win. You're going to have to go earn it every week. And that's what everybody has to do. But they're a good football team. And so we got our work cut out. And I'm looking forward to getting off this Zoom call so I can get back to work.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Congratulations on your victory.
Appreciate it.
Coach, I want to ask you about your coaching staff. You talked about having great coaches. Your offense coordinator, Tony Hull, his name has been mentioned as a possible candidate for the Southern University job. Can you talk about that and what you think regarding that?
I don't think anything about it. Didn't know about it. I'm concerned with FAMU. But obviously, anytime your coach gets mentioned for a job, he's a Louisiana guy. Warren Easton High School head coach. He's done a great job. I worked with him at ULM. Man, we're trying to win a game. But, if he came to me and asked me my advice, I give him all the information I got. He deserving of every opportunity that he gets. But that's the only thing I have to say about that.
Thank you, Coach. Fair enough. Good luck to you this week.
Appreciate it.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Hampton, and congratulations on the win.
Appreciate it.
I asked Coach Cozy a philosophy question, if you'd allow me to get in your head in terms of the philosophy as much as you were willing to share. I certainly understand you need to get back to business there, but if get through this, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, from what you were able to do successful, obviously you go in a game plan, and a lot of football is unique is the fact that you adjust on the fly and you make it work. And the better you're able to do that based on what's going on, a lot of times it puts you in position to win. And sometimes it allows you to even flourish. You're able to flourish in terms of putting up 40 points against Southern specific. A lot of it was with the pass. But last week, Jackson State was able to do some things running the ball against FAMU. How do you go in when you analyze the tape and decide what you're going to do? How much of it is about what you do well in the last matchup more than what it is in terms of what you may see another team allows you to do?
Well, obviously, I think if you go back and look at our last 3 games, we were able to run the football. And again, we had a 100-yard rusher or close to it. And the 2 previous games, we didn't. And those are games that we lost. So you got to be able to establish the run.
Right.
And that just gives your team a mentality, toughness about them. I think a lot of times you just draw back and pass the ball. It kind of makes you soft. And that's not what I want. I want a tough Pine Bluff. We talk about being a tough-minded football team. And I want to set the mindset that's who we're going to be. And obviously, we do have a quarterback that can throw it and run the ball. And so from a perspective of just watching, obviously we're going to do what we do best, because that's what we do, right? We practice on what we do. And if a team is taking that away, you got to be able to watch film, as Coach said, and kind of get an idea of what things may work or things that they haven't covered well. And so obviously we've always done that. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to stop the run as a defense and got to be able to tackle in space, especially when you're playing a team like FAMU. They got some athletic guys out there. And so that's what you get in Florida. And so special teams wise, we got to be able to, not give up a big play. They got some great return men. And so you want to have complementary football in all 3 phases. Very rarely you're going to be able to sit back there and throw the ball 30, 35 times. That's not a winning recipe for us at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And I said, I'm not afraid of it. We don't have all the talent that a lot of the other teams got. We got some young guys that are very talented, but they're not seasoned yet. And so we have to do what's best for us that keeps us in the game the longest. And so we got to be able to run the football, got a good offensive line. And regardless of what people are doing, then you got to kind of see if they're going to put 8 guys in the box, you take your shots, things of that nature. And on defense, you got to be able to stop the run, especially this week. They got a good running back, man. And they do some good things, big offensive linemen. And their D-line is good. Don't get me wrong. And so I'm pretty sure they may feel like they're going to be able to stop the run, and we're going to have to be able to take some shots. And, our receivers got to make plays. Last week they made the plays, a couple one-handed catches for touchdowns. And the week prior to, we didn't do that. And so when I go back and evaluate the things that we're doing, it's tackling and catching the football. If you can do that, man, you'll have an opportunity to win games in this league.
Appreciate the in-depth insight. Thank you, Coach Hampton. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Appreciate it.
Last question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon from Atlanta. Keisha J. Kelly from Black College Experience. I'll say first and foremost, like everybody else, congratulations on the win. I always come back to this. You talk about you want to be able to beat up, and indeed the team did some beating up over the weekend against Southern University. You also talked about you knowing that good things were going to come if y'all keep on performing, and this was the big time. Coach, how did you feel going into that halftime, and how you motivated the team to keep going, because that's a lot of points that you put up on a Southern University team?
Well, obviously, we talked about our motto this year was finish. We lost big the first year, you lost close the second year, you come in this year, you're still losing close, feel like you're performing better, but we wanted to be able to finish start fast and finish. And so obviously going in, just talked about the score being 0-0. And then when the team been whooping you as long as the Southern's been whooping us, like we couldn't be, excited. You know that it's going to be a 4-quarter game. And so we just had to keep our foot on the pedal. Obviously on special teams, man, they set up 14 points for the first play of the game. They dropped the kickoff and we were able to score. Then we get an interception. So we put our offense in great position. I think we gave them the ball maybe three times. We blocked a punt in the red zone. So, I mean, we set them up nice. And that's what complimentary football is. So I think 21 of those points came off of either turnovers or special teams. And so that's what we need to do in order for us to continue to turn this program around, be able to play complimentary football.
All right, well, Coach, I'll let you get back to work, and good luck at FAMU this weekend.
I appreciate it. And you have a blessed week.
You too.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, appreciate it. Y'all be blessed.
Sir, thank you. We now go over to Mississippi Valley State. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Buckley. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us off with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
Oh man, we had another tough one after it felt like a 30-hour road trip on that darn bus. I felt like the guys responded really well under those circumstances. We got off to a horrific start, opening kickoff, they run back. So we're down 7-0, it's 10 seconds in the game. The finish up 42-34, the way the guys fought, we actually played for 4 quarters for the first time this year. We made some plays, obviously didn't make enough, but the energy and where we're trying to go is trending upwards. I told the team I was very proud of the effort and the way we performed and didn't have a lot of complaining and bickering on the sideline, even though it was down 14-0 in the first quarter. So we still have a long ways to go, but we're trending in the right direction.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll talk a little bit about Josh Brown. I know didn't get the win, but played really well offensively, Coach. So I wanted to talk about your junior 6'3" quarterback who put up 418 yards, 36 of 57, had a touchdown, but one interception. Among what you were able to do, running the ball, really all phases, getting it done offensively in that matchup.
Yes, you talking about somebody that did a tremendous job for us. Pretty much, 70-80% of our offense, running, throwing. Is a special person that wants to be great. I think he's in that area where I'm good. But just like you look at the tape and you say, man, that could have been even better. Minus the interception, which hurt us, right? You give up points there. You lose by 8. But overall, a very good job. Again, trending in the right direction. But nobody is pleased and happy with that. You hear other coaches, you hear other teams talk about we're close. You get tired of saying that. We need to get over that hump and close the door. And Josh is going to be one of the main reasons that we do that. So as long as he keeps improving, don't get comfortable where he's at, we feel like we have a shot with anybody we're playing.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
This question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Buck, good morning to you.
Morning.
Well, I say it all the time. I always sing your praises about how hard you guys play and just your spirit and just how much you care, man. And that just can't be understated. So I wanted to start by saying that.
Thank you.
Now, I also want to just ask you, being that you guys have 4 games remaining and you guys have 4 opportunities to continue to enhance your culture, build on your pillars, and build on the things that you want in your vision. Talk about just the opportunity that's in front of you this weekend with Jackson State coming to town.
Well, listen, I tell them it's a privilege to play college football with FCS school Division I. No matter your past, we get to determine our future, right? And how you do that is now, being present. So if you don't want to be a part of continued growth, then this is not the place for you. This is a new era, and the roster is trimming down as we speak. We're going to go out and compete and play one of these days for 60 minutes, and we put this together the right way. You guys gonna see something. I love what we're doing. I love what the guys are doing, how they're playing. We got off that 15-hour bus trip from Bethune, and we had a workout 30 minutes later. You don't get that. Volunteer workout. Guys was in there working because they know we're getting better. The vision, the standard is the standard no matter who we're playing and what we're doing.
Well, that's awesome, Coach, and I appreciate the transparency in your answer, and continue to keep doing what you're doing. I know the wins aren't there, but keep doing what you're doing. We'll talk to you next week. Good luck against Jackson State.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in the Delta are well. The history of some of the rivalries in the Magnolia State, when you think about HBCU and the SWAC, Jackson comes in to Itabena, but talk a little bit about this opportunity, Jackson State and Mississippi Valley, and it makes for a really interesting afternoon of football.
Well, think about things about rivalry. You got to win some games, right? You have to beat them. Kind of, you talk about the Miami, Florida State, where you kind of win in spurts, but it's not one-sided. What we're trying to create here is we want to be competitive, no matter who it is. I know Jackson State is coming in, but we want to get where we're not playing for one season, one game. We're trying to build a program here, a program that's sustainable, that can go in and game out and compete and have a legitimate chance to come out of there victorious.
Thank you, Coach Buck. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Last question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Marvin Nichols from MTMV Sports. I want to just say that you're doing a great job and you're very exciting to watch. Despite the record, your players are competing hard every week. How do you keep their confidence and belief strong through the final games of this season?
Well, just like today, just having talks with them, finding out their plans, not being afraid, talking about the portal, talking about their plans, what are the future, life after football, right? What are you going to do? How can we help you to get better? And challenging the coaches, telling ourselves, let's get better. Let's put together better game plans. We now know what we have, what we can and cannot do. Everybody talk about, okay, our talent level is not where it needs to be. Well, let's create better game plans, put them in better positions, get some input from them, and let's turn it loose. To me, again, it's a privilege to be a college football player. Let's act like it's a privilege to be a college coach. Let's act like it. We got 4 games left. We are professionals. Let's go out and take care of our business. That's what grown men do.
Well, you're very optimistic, and I want to continue to encourage you, and I look forward to watching you this weekend.
Thank you.
Good luck to
Hopefully
you.
that's going to turn into us making more plays and we're giving up.
It's gonna happen. I really believe that. You're very optimistic, and you're doing a great job. So
Thank
good
you.
luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we now go over to Prairie View A&M. Once again, if you do have questions for coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Jackson with PVAMU. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama State.
Yeah, we
Played Alabama State, a really good football team, and we started fast this week, which we hadn't done, and scored and did some things early on. Thought we attacked them offensively in a different manner than what we had, and we just couldn't sustain it. Ended up tying it up at the half, and then it kind of got away from us in the third quarter, and we were able to still have a chance in the end. But ultimately, when you turn the ball over 4 times, regardless of how it's done or why it's done, then it's just not good enough to win. And so to be able to have a chance at the end, we were grateful for. I just thought they made the right plays at the right time, and we didn't. So we get ready for a really good Alabama A&M team where we'll get on a plane for the first time this season and head on down.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, that team that you just played is the #1 ranked team in HBCU football in a lot of polls. What does the way you played them say about your program and the and your
whose poll? Like, I don't know what polls can really go inside of a program. After being a guy that sat on national polls and where I came from, to really rank, those polls are ranked off feelings and emotions and what people see on TV, not what goes on inside a program. So we don't put a lot of stock in the polls. What I will tell you is that football team that Coach Robinson has established over 4 years of his alma mater is a really good football team. And for us to be able to compete, start fast, do the things that we say we want to do, after being here for now 11 months, I was proud of our team. But being proud of them and winning is 2 totally different things. We expected to win, and I think that people try to find moral things. We lost. There is no moral victory in it. We had a chance to win. I felt like we were supposed to win. We didn't execute to win, and that is a really good football team, but not because of the polls. It's just because of how they go about their business. They're well coached, and they play extremely hard. And so I thought there were 2 really hard-playing football teams there, and we just came out on the short end of the stick.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Wayne.
Hey, Coach Jackson, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So I just have a very simple question for you and your program.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to do this week inside your building to make sure that 1 loss doesn't turn into 2?
Yeah, not turn the ball over. Just that simple. Don't turn the ball over. Work on not turning the ball over 4 times. We don't turn the ball over 4 times and we play hard, I think we'll be okay.
Fair enough, Coach. Good luck against A&M this week.
Thank you.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab streaming show, also responsible for some of those polls out there.
Mm-hmm.
I had that matchup as #1 versus #2, HBCU football. We like to think we analyze a little bit. I know you coaches do a lot of work and know the insides, but some of us media folks got to do something to cover y'all and get the information out. So we're working hard at it. So give us a break at times, Coach. Give us a break at times. With that being said, I want to ask you less about the previous matchup. I think we had a chance to kind of talk about that, and we've heard the reports. But moving forward to the Bulldogs, taking a long trip relatively, meaning you got to fly in, which may be a little different for certain players. How do you approach that? And as you approach that in terms of working towards not turning the ball over, what do you want to see your team get done on both sides of the ball in this matchup to be successful?
Yeah, I want to see us play 60 minutes of the way that we play. Can we the way we played in the first quarter of this past matchup, can we do that for 60 minutes? What does that look like? What can we do to not have me come on here next week and say what we didn't do? And I think that's every coach's dream, right? Like, how can we play a complete football game where we don't make mistakes, we never punt, we do those things. We're chasing that. But I think in the meantime, there are some things that we must get better at. Obviously, we cannot turn the ball over. We got to be in the right places defensively. We had some uncharacteristic things happen on defense. And I honestly think the moment was just a little too big for some of our guys. And we need to get that out of our system because this program has never been in a championship caliber game, and that's what that was. And so we got to make sure that we get our guys relaxed and we get our guys ready to execute and focus at a high level and just be us. And as I told our guys on Sunday, all we have to do is be us. If we just be us, we don't just because somebody else dance to music, we don't have to dance to music. That's not us. It's okay to be us. It's just like saying that my last name ain't good enough. I'm great with being a Jackson. And so we're trying to teach our guys what winning looks like for us. And I think if we can get that done throughout the week and continue to harp on things and they adhere to it, then I think we'll find the result that we're looking for.
Thank you, Coach Jackson. Look forward to the matchup, and we'll keep ranking on our sides and see if we can change your mind a little bit.
Please do.
Take care.
Question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. Talk a little bit about November football and how important it is to win games in November. Any game is important to win, but as you get deeper in November, what that can look like.
Yeah, we talk to our guys all the time about August, September, October. You got to do your work early so you can remember November, because they remember November. And I'm talking about whoever they is, whether it's your fans, whether it's the alums, whether it's the media, they remember November. And having the opportunity in past places to be a part of November runs where trophies are given out in November, man, I've always said that if you play well in November, then you can earn yourself a chance to be competing at a high level for a championship. There's a lot of people right now that are getting ready for basketball. Let's just call a spade a spade. There's a lot of people that as basketball season starts today, a lot of people have gotten ready for the spring and about to spray the pads down at the end of the month and go ahead and go in the gym and shoot some layups. Well, that's not us right now. And we're excited that that's not us. And we got to make sure we continue to make that not be us. But if we don't play well against this Alabama A&M team and anybody else moving forward, then we'll be getting ready for basketball too. And so that's not something that we're ready to do. And we tell our guys that. And like we said, we got posters up saying that they remember November, because that is what everybody remembers. Because in football, championships are won or championship places are secured in November.
Thank you, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Wayne.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to come back and I wanted to ask you this. A lot was you made a very conscious effort to try to get additional, more support from your fan base and things like that in attendance. Can you just speak to that and just, where you see the current state of your fan base and this thing moving forward?
Yeah, I'm really not concerned with our fan base. I did what I did last week because I grew up with my grandmother, Wayne, man. My grandmother would give you the shirt off her back. And so there's a crisis going on in our country. There are people that cannot afford to enjoy a football game. And so I wanted to make sure that I, being raised the way that I was raised, and that our players being raised in this program the way they're being raised, they see people trying to make a conscious effort to help change our world. So I wanted to give people an opportunity to come watch what I thought was going to be a really good football game. And I wasn't going to ask our department. I wasn't going to ask anybody in the community. God has been really good to me, so I bought the tickets. That was just because trying to be a good human, man. I think we've lost that in our society, in our world. I ain't seen nobody else do it. I don't see nobody else concerned about what's going on. And maybe they are in other ways. But I didn't do that for clicks and likes. Man, we did that or to get people in the stands. We did that because there's a issue going on in our world. And we shouldn't have to have protests and things of that nature to address issues. When you see an issue, my grandma taught me, when you see something, say something. So we saw something, and we wanted to give people an opportunity to do that, and we'll do it again. It's not just for that game. We'll do it again for our next home games. We really look forward to helping people in our program, and I think our players need to see that. And when they leave our program, hopefully they do something to help people in their community as well.
Appreciate that answer, Coach. Good luck. Good luck, as I said before.
Thank you.
This question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. Marvin Nichols, MTMV Sports. Quick question. After an emotional close game like like you had last weekend, how do you reset and stay grounded and focused and getting ready for, this coming weekend?
Yeah, Ms. Nichols, I don't think we're in any position to be harping on what was. We got to focus on what will be. We've been like that since the day we've gotten here. Just because you weren't don't mean you can't be. And
All right.
we weren't successful on Saturday. That has no bearing on next Saturday if we pay this invoice of work that we got to pay in order to get what we say we want. And so we look forward to seeing our guys in the building today and then getting out on the field tomorrow. To get ready to go to work, because one thing we know that they know by all the text messages and things that I got and phone calls and coach, I wish we could run it back, but we might have that opportunity to run it back. But before then, we got a great opportunity in front of us to get on a plane and go play at Alabama A&M, a place that the last time I was in the SWAC conference was a really, really tough place to play. And I got a lot of respect for Coach Shade after playing against him at our former places in the playoffs. And so I know we got a really good opponent in front of us, but we certainly are in no position to keep crying about what happened 2 days ago. We got to move forward, and I think these guys have.
Thank you, Coach. Keep on keeping on.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
Thank you. We now go over to Southern University and Coach McNair. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach McNair with Southern. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Oh yeah, we traveled up the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff to play the really good coach football team. I thought the coach Hampton did a great job of preparing these guys to play a real good football team. We started off receiving the ball, and we muffed the kickoff return on the first play from scrimmage. They were able to capitalize on that on a very short field. We came back and we tied it up 7-7, and then we turned it over again with an interception. They capitalized on it. So, the thing was we gave them 14-point spots off turnovers. So they was able to put those balls in the box and win the ball game. We had too many penalties, unsportsmanlike penalties, personal foul penalties that we really got to hone in on this week. And I told the guys, the coaching staff on yesterday, that we got to fix that. And just understand that we gave up too many explosive plays on the defensive side of the ball in the secondary. We got to fix those. Offensively, we didn't establish a running game as well as we had thought. We should have ran the ball. Only had like maybe 70-some-yard rush off 20-some carries. So we got to do a better job of blocking up front with the offensive line and making sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's in those categories. I think that other than the muff kickoff return, we special team played a pretty solid special team game in terms of making them front catch the balls on punt, keeping the ball away from that return guy. Thought we did a real good job at that, and going down on kickoffs, covering the kickoff really well too. So we just kind of pick up on defense and on our rushing game and prepare for a good football game that's coming up weekend down in Auburn, Mississippi. Going against a good football team against Alcorn State.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach McNair. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
So obviously, let's just start with the white elephant in the room. You're returning back to a place that you had such great success, winning SWAC championships, and you've been there such a long time. Talk about the emotions and just the passion and the feeling that you have getting ready to coach a game on the opposite sideline at a place that you love so much.
It's just always something that you go back home and being a part of something you've been for so long and being able to get opportunity to go back as opposition coach. But my emotion right now is trying to get the young men we got here at Southern to play a full 60 minutes of football. We got to go out today and do some correction stuff today at practice and get these guys' mindset to go play a good 60 minutes of football against a good football program down in Alcorn.
All right, Coach, good luck this week as you head to the reservation.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, can we get a status update on Horatio Johnson and Vincent Page, who didn't play in this game this past weekend?
Well, Vincent, he did play. Vincent Page did play. Like I said, just got to get those guys playing pretty solid on the defense side of the ball. But Horatio, he did not play. He didn't even travel with us again. But we're working on some things. I think he's been doing well with his rehab, with his treatment. So we'll see where he's at this week, especially today. See where he's at from the standpoint of playing on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody there on campus are well. Can you talk about returning to Alcorn State to play, and then the greatness of the late, great Marino Cassim?
Oh, yeah, man. I think, I got a chance to really talk to Coach Cassim when he was living up in Houston. A couple of times we played in the SWAC championship against Grambling. We got a chance to say a few words. Actually, Coach Cassim, he recruited me out of high school back in '86 before he made a transition down here to Southern as the athletic director, back in '86. So great individual, man. Great spirit he had, just talking and carrying on conversation with him, when he was here. So we lost a good one in Coach Marino Cassim. Families did, Alcorn family and the Southern University family in Marino Cassim. I still hear people talk about Marino Cassim, the late Marino Cassim here at Southern as well. So he was a great individual in all eyesights. But going back to Alcorn, just traveling back, just going back to see the place that I'm so familiar with. Some of the coaches that's there now was on my staff that I was with. I had on staff there. So just those familiar faces, just going back. And the biggest thing is get these young men that we got to go down and Laurel, Mississippi, try to win a football game. We're desperate for a win right now. We're doing some great stuff, but we just got to be more consistent in our play, in all positions. I think the guys are really stretching themselves to fight to get a win, but I think we just got to be more consistent in the things that we do in terms of offensive, defense, special teams.
All right, Coach. Have a blessed trip back home.
All right, thank you, sir.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach McNair. How are you?
Well, good, sir.
Yeah, good to hear your voice. It's Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Wanted to talk defensively specifically. What things that you want to see get done and how you might better make those changes, as Alcorn was really solid this week against Texas Southern in terms of running the ball. And Pine Bluff was able to get some things done against you on the run, although more effective in the air. How do you look to try to make some schematic changes in terms of doing some things to stop the run?
Just talking to the defensive staff yesterday during the course of our staff, just to understand we got to be gap sound. Our linebackers got to step up and fill the hole. We sit back on our heels a lot of times and wait for the play to come to us. We got to attack the play. Just let them know that the things that I've seen during the course of film watching and taking it to the staff meeting, when these guys understand that the things that we can't allow, we got to tackle better. We missed a lot of tackles, and that can't happen. We had a couple busted coverage in the secondary, 2 of them for touchdowns, and that can't happen. You go 14 points there, you give up 14 more on special teams. So, stuff like that. You just got to be mindful and get these guys to working hard. The coaches know that we got to work hard this week. We got a real good football team, and Alcorn have a great offensive line. They big and huge. Beck and Sewell. And they got a solid backup. Those guys run the ball hard. So we had to be able to tackle the football. Got to be able to bring it down to the dirt. So we'll be able to do those things this week. One of the things that we're going to really work on hard this week is making sure we tackle well going into this ball game Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you, sir.
Take care going home.
Last question goes to Keisha Kelly.
Hey, Coach. Keisha J. Kelly, Black College Experience. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. So, Coach, how are you keeping these guys motivated after a loss to Pine Bluff? And I won't keep going back to that, but how are you keeping them motivated going into this game against Alcorn State?
I guess the biggest thing is these guys understand the coaching philosophy of myself and how we approach the game each and every week. We got to come out and practice hard each and every week. The biggest thing is that you got a jersey on with a name on it. You got your name, the last name on your jersey. If you can't do anything but play for your name, play for your last name. Be excited about that. You got another opportunity to go on the field and play another ball game. Just talking to those guys about doing the right thing and just being excited about football in terms of what we need to get done in preparation for this week going into Saturday.
All right. Well, great luck this weekend and travel well, Coach.
Coach, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we now go over to Texas Southern University and Coach Dishman. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, we're happy to be joined by Coach Dishman with Texas Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Doing great, Coach. As always, thank you for joining us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn.
Well, Alcorn came in here like we knew they would and really put it on us. So we have to be able to bounce back from that game into our next game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. You going on the road, long trip in terms of the conference, in terms of face the number one team that's been pretty effective running the ball. You weren't as effective this last weekend, but you've been effective of stopping the run all season. What do you look to see in terms of this offense that you want to get done from a defensive perspective to put yourself in a position to win the ball game?
Well, we got to play complementary football, offense, defense, and special teams. We have to be able to feed off each other, have more energy, and feed off each other. Eddie have a very good team. He's been there for, I think, 4 years now, 4 to 5 years now. And he has established a culture, and that's what we're trying to do here at Texas Southern, establish something that we can feed on.
All right. Great points. Look forward to the matchup in the game this week, Coach.
All right.
Safe travel.
Question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone on campus are well. When you think about November football, I know it's 1 week at a time, but just talk a little bit about November football and what that can look like to be successful.
Well, everybody say you're supposed to win in November and December, but here we try to win in August, September, October, November, and December. So we're trying to not just November and December, but we're trying to win in other months too. So we just have to constantly talk to our guys about bringing the energy. When our guys bring their energy, when our guys can establish the run, play complementary football, we're a very good team.
All right, Coach. Good luck at Alabama State.
Thank you.
This question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Dishman, after this game on Saturday, and considering where you guys are, where you guys were coming off of a bye week, can you talk about, just in description, just a little bit further about how disappointing this was of a performance for you guys and your staff?
Well, every loss is disappointing. I've been in the NFL for 13 years, and every loss is disappointing. But you bounce back and you get ready for the next game.
All right, Coach. Good luck against Alabama State.
Thank you.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach, you talked about, good morning, first of all, Coach.
Uh-huh.
You talked about establishing a culture. And at Texas Southern, during the broadcast, it was mentioned that it's been a very long time since this institution has won 5 football games in a row, which you were doing or attempting to do this week. How much of the mindset of not having accomplished that played into the energy on the field?
Well, I don't think any of these guys on this team was around when that happened or didn't happen. So I don't think it plays nothing at all into that.
Got it. Thank you, Coach.
Welcome.
Any final questions for Coach? All right, Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again
Okay,
next
guys,
week.
have a great one.
Thank you. All right, we're going to pause momentarily. We'll be back with Coach TC Taylor with Jackson State. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could, start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Yes, a great win. You know, rebounding off a tough loss to Grambling a week ago. Great win to go down there and brag and get the win against FAMU, a 6 o'clock kickoff game. Proud of our fans that showed up, you know, and proud of my football team and coaches. You know, they really prepared well all week for their football game, and we had a great plan going into it. Executed well. Anytime you can rush for close to 400 yards against a football team, that's what you want to be able to do and play good defense. We did that and took our shots up top, you know, and just very pleased where we are right now going into this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach TC Taylor, how are you today, sir?
I'm good, Wayne. How are you?
Doing well. That was a really impressive second half performance, and I want to just kind of go back to something you said. You had said in an interview, you told the guys at halftime, you said they need to get off their blank
Yeah.
and get going.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit more about just what really went into that passion and just getting these guys to lock in that second half? And then secondly, moving into this Valley game, what do you need to do? What do you guys envision how that can carry over?
Yeah. Just told them, you know, I feel like in that first half, FAMU gave us an opportunity to get separate, and we didn't take advantage of those opportunities, especially on the offensive side of the ball, even with a true freshman at quarterback. I know what he's capable of, and I know he wasn't playing his best football, but we got to be able to score touchdowns. That's what I told him. You know, I thought our defense was playing pretty good in the first half, and I just didn't, overall at halftime, I told him I didn't see the team that I'm accustomed to seeing. You know, but they came out and responded in the second half. Like you said, I was on them pretty tough. At halftime, I said some choice words to them, and they came out in the second half, responded. I think ripped off 31 points in that second half. But that's what I expected this football team, especially at this time of the year. You know, this time of the year, you're trying to fight and scratch for postseason play right now, and we want to, you know, in the next few weeks, get ready to lock this East Division championship up, and we got a great opportunity of that. We're in control of our own destiny. So that's why I just got on them at the half, and they came out and responded. To the second part of the question, Valley is a solid football team. You know, they threw for over 400 yards in this past game. They know how to score points. And, you know, teams just play good at home. You know, we got to go on the road and take another victory by any means necessary. So we got to travel well, get up there and, you know, come out the gates hot and play a good first half of football, and then come out there in the second half and finish the game strong.
Appreciate you as always, Coach. Good luck on your third straight road game.
All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Jackson are well. Great to see you guys this past weekend. Talk a little bit about the running attack. Miller, Davenport, Nate, and then your freshman quarterback. And then also the opportunity to go into the Delta and play against Valley in your earliest memories of that Jackson and Delta in that rivalry against Mississippi Valley.
Yeah, it's a great luxury to have when you got an offensive line playing at the level of play that they're playing it right now. Those guys, that group that we have on the field, those 5 guys up front, has been playing a lot of football together this year. So the chemistry has gotten right on that offensive line. You know, that's hats off to my co-OC, offensive line coach Manny Ramirez. He does a great job of preparing those guys for different looks, you know, getting them up for road games, whether we on the road, like I said, or at home. Those running backs are special. You talk about Ahmad Miller. He's been running the ball with you know, authority all year long for us. And, you know, that run, he was able to break out right before half, really gave us a great boost going into the half. Denario Davenport is another big back with speed and size that can run the football well. Travis Terrell finished the game out with some great carries. You talked about Nate, Amari. All those guys collectively, you know, get along and they push each other to be great. Each and every time one of them touched the ball. Also, they were good in our pass pro opportunities, you know, picking up linebackers and everything. Just a complete group when you talk about that offensive line and running backs room. This game right here is just a lot of tradition at both schools. When you talk about Valley and Jerry Rice, Willie Totten up there that did some great things there. It's a lot of tradition into that program over there as well. On the flip side, for us in Jackson State, you know, Robert Brazile, Walter Payton, all the greats is, you know, played in that game against each other. We know it's going to be a great crowd up there. So we're looking forward to it. Valley does a great job of playing very hard and physical when they have opportunity to play against Jackson State. That's what I remember as a player and, you know, as a coach as well. So we got to be ready to go and prepare the right way this week.
All right, Coach. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You as well.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Congratulations, Coach.
How you doing, Perry? Thank you.
Super fantastic, Coach. Talk about taking your dynamic receiver, Nate Rembert, back into the Delta where he came from and his disposition about this opportunity.
He's excited. He's been chopping at the bit. You know, you just try to get Nate to take it one game at a time, but he's excited about getting the opportunity going back to the team that he played for, you know, just a year ago and did some great things for that program. So, you know, we'll try to design some things, get him ready to go, but you know, it's just up to Nate to, you know, bottling up those emotions and staying within the game plan and going out there and do what Nate do. And he's been doing a good job of that week in, week out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. The defense was really effective in terms of the stats in stopping the rush of Florida A&M Rattlers. Talk about some of the key guys that were able to get that done and how you want them to continue that momentum and do the same against the Delta Devils.
Yeah, use that. Go ahead and use that. And because we want to, if you guys are doing it, even if it's.
Yeah, Doc, to answer your question, it's those guys in the box with that defensive line, starting with Jeremiah Williams. He does a great job in the middle of, you know, anchoring that defensive line. Tymon Wells, we got Kanye Varner starting to play good football. The transfer we was able to get in here from Alabama State, he made a huge impact. And Quincy Ivory has been Quincy Ivory every week. And when you mix all those guys as well, some other guys on that D line, they really take pride in stopping the run. The next level is the linebackers. You know, Reed Pulliam, Ashton Taylor are playing at high level right now. I think they're two of the better linebackers in the conference. They was here last year off of last year's championship team. So they take pride in for us taking away the run. And we know if we can do that, you know, we make offenses one-dimensional, having to throw the football around. So, you know, and they looked at the film the week before, you know, that they ran the ball pretty well against Southern, and they just wanted to go out there and take that away from them. So I can't say enough about the defense, and we're going to need them going forward to play at a high level. I did tell them that with a true freshman at quarterback, you know, those young guys at quarterback, they got to go out there and stop people week in, week out. If we have any, you know, hopes and ambitions of being SWAC championships, or just East Division championship.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup. Good luck this week. Take care.
Thank you, Doc. You as well.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Yes, Charles Bishop, Dr. Gills inside the HBCU Sports Lab. And Coach, I want to ask this question. HBCU Game Day did a great article, Von Wilson, with regards to talking about Jacoby Morgan's presence there on the sideline, as well as seemingly working with Jared during the course of the game. But just what does it mean to have that veteran presence there on the sideline and just being a part of this team for however long the breadth of his injury is?
Yeah, I mean, he's the unquestioned leader of our team, one of the unquestioned leaders on this roster. And he showed his value, he's shown his value as a player, but now you can see what he just means to this football team. He did a good job of giving Jared some comfort throughout the whole deal through those 4 quarters of that last game. That's why, I was like, there's no way we're leaving Jacoby in here. Back in Jackson, I know what he means to that quarterback room. A lot of those guys, all those guys in there look up to him. And not only in that room, just this football team looks at him as our unquestioned leader. So he, you look over there, he got the iPad over there, breaking down looks with Jared as well, and just keeping him grounded and letting him know, I'm right there with my brother through this process throughout that game. So it was a great job by him. And, that's what you're going to continue to see. He just wants to see this program do well going forward.
I appreciate that, Coach.
No problem. Thanks, Chuck.
Last question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Morning, Coach. Marvin Nichols, MTMV Sports. Congratulations on your win in Bragg Stadium. Listen, we know that, the hallmark of a championship program is balance, and when the offense and defense feed off of each other. And in Jackson State, you controlled the tempo, limited mistakes, and dictated the game's rhythm. How proud of you of the way your offense and defense complemented each other in this game, especially the defense limiting Florida A&M to just 1 of 11 on 3rd downs?
Yeah, you talk about situational football throughout a game, and we want to win in all those situations where, like you said, 3rd down, red zone. We want to dominate in all those facets of the game. Also, our special teams, I thought they stepped up and gave us a turnover in that game. But when you're playing well in all 3 phases, you're giving your team a chance to be successful going forward in the postseason. And that's our hopes and dreams. That's our goal. To win the East first, win the SWAC championship, and go win a Celebration Bowl again. But I think we're clicking at the right time, as a group. I thought that was one of our better performances as a whole, as a football team. And again, we were getting some guys back that were banged up in that, to play in that game this past weekend. And it's always tough. You're able to gauge a football team, when you're able to go win on the road. Those road games really matter. How are you going to perform on the road? Everybody's up for home games, but when your team goes on the road and have a dominant performance like that, you got a chance to, win an East Division championship and a possibility of, a SWAC championship berth.
Well, you look great, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Everybody be safe.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Concludes our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, November 3rd. As a reminder, all SWAC football head coaches media sessions are digitally archived on the SWAC Digital Network and SWAC TV. Thank you for your participation. Have a great day.
Have a great one. Thank you again, Mr. Andrew.
Yes, sir. Thank you.